But George Lucas mostly, back in the day, he was a director, right?
He directed Star Wars.
And what else? Did he do all the other stuff too?
The prequels, 1 through 3.
But I mean, did he have other jobs on set? Like, was he just the director?
Oh, he wrote it.
I forgot. Yeah, he did write it.
Yeah, he didn't. He wrote, I believe, the screenplay to Star Wars, and then I think another guy actually wrote the screenplays of 2 and 3. I think his name is. Oh, trivia question. His name is something like Lawrence Kasdan, and that might be exactly right. I'm not sure. Lawrence, I'm writing that down. Lawrence Kasdan, or Lawrence Kasdan is actually some famous director, so I could be wrong. Lawrence Kasdan. We'll see who he is. Anyway, whoever the guy is, he wrote Empire Strikes Back and I believe Return of the Jedi, and that'll all be part of the trivia question.
What?
Yeah,
they weren't all written by George? Only?
Well, he wrote the stories. The entire saga is his idea.
I forgot there's a difference between story and, like, screenplay, right?
Yeah. So, this Lawrence, or whoever he was, actually put pen to paper and said, Luke says this, Darth Vader says that, but a lot of things were probably already written by George Lucas, and of course rewritten by George Lucas. But saying no, George Lucas didn't just show up onto set on the first day going, "Well, let's see what the screenplay says." No, I mean he read it and said, and probably said, "No, this is they've got to say, may the Force be with you right here. They have to say."
Yeah, okay,
all right,
that makes sense.
But we'll look at it because I know more Star Wars than a person who doesn't know Star Wars, but I know way less Star Wars than people that really know Star Wars. This is a podcast about poems. And this week, Mike, what poem are we going to read?
We're going to read Shakespeare's Sonnet number 20.
On Mike and Scott Read a Poem, Shakespeare's Sonnet number 20. All right, do you have it pulled up?
I just got it up, yep.
What are you using? Shakespeare Online?
Shakespeare's-sonnets.com.
All right, that's what you use, Shakespeare-sonnets.com.
Yep.
I guess I'll stay. Is that the first one that pops up on Google for you?
No, I have it bookmarked because I like the explanations it gives down below.
Oh, okay. Which we don't read until after we've analyzed it ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Read Sonnet. I'm not telling you. I'm telling the audience. So we're going to read this poem, then we're going to analyze it for you, then we're going to take a break, look up the interpretations, come back and tell you if we're right. So let's just kick this off, huh? Why don't you read for us Sonnet number 20?
All right. Shakespeare's Sonnet number 20. A woman's face with nature's own hand painted, hast thou, the master mistress of my passion, a woman's gentle heart, but not acquainted with shifting change, as is false women's fashion, an eye more bright than theirs, less false in rolling, gilding the object whereupon it gazeth. A man in hue, all hues in his controlling, which steals men's eyes and women's souls amazeth. And for a woman wert thou first created, till nature, as she wrought thee, fell a-dotting. And by addition me of thee defeated, by adding one thing to my purpose, nothing. But since she pricked thee out of women's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure.
Rough. Rough.
Wow. Felt like I was reading forever on that one.
And I just...
Because I was just like trying to scan it for meaning while I'm reading,
Uh-huh.
And every line that goes by that I just can't connect to something.
You kept thinking, eventually I'm going to start getting this.
Yeah.
I'm going to start to see the big picture.
I thought, and then at one point I thought I had something, but then I read the next line. I was like, no, that's not it.
So let's start off. Do you even know who this poem is about?
I thought it was just about a bunch of people.
Sure, I have a feeling that it would probably be about one person or one group of people, and those other maybe quatrains are other examples of the thing he's going to talk about. Go ahead, start from the top. We just got to dig through this. This is a rough beginning this week to Mike and Scott Read a Poem. We're holding on to nothing.
Yeah, usually we've got some sort of an idea, but this one's rough. Okay, so let's just read the first little quatrain, right?
Okay.
Or, well, the first lines and try to figure it out. A woman's face with nature's own hand painted. Is that makeup? No.
Hast thou. Oh, wait.
Oh, that's
So
just
look.
a woman's face.
There is no comma after painted. So it's going to be one line. A woman's face with nature's own hand painted hast thou.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have a comma.
You have a comma after own hand painted?
Yeah. That's why maybe I should read a different one.
No, maybe I should read yours. Doesn't mean Shakespeare-online isn't necessarily better than Shakespeare-sonnets. Let's just say that it is hast thou. So you have... Oh, so it's about a woman? The master mistress of my passion.
So a woman's face...
So you have a beautiful face. If something's painted by nature's own hand...
Because nature's beautiful, nature has painted this beautiful face.
Hast thou, the master mistress of my passion, the most powerful of the things that I'm passionate about, you think?
Yep. I think that's...
A woman's gentle heart, but not acquainted with shifting change, as is false woman's fashion. A woman's gentle heart doesn't even know what it's like to change affections. Like it falls in love and is loyal, because that's the way a woman does things. So you're beautiful like a woman outside, and you're beautiful like a real woman inside. So far, you're quite beautiful. Let me just start off this poem by saying you're doing quite well. All right, next quatrain. So we'll go with that for now.
A woman's gentle heart not acquainted with shifting change, as is false woman's fashion. I think so, yeah. Okay, so the next one. An eye more bright than theirs, less false in rolling, gilding the object whereupon it gazeth. So, just looking at stuff turns it to gold because you're that hot? Because your eyes are beautiful, bright?
An eye more bright than theirs.
See, that's probably the point where I thought it was talking about more like a group of people. But he could be referring to something.
Well, it could still be that your eye is more bright than who? A false woman, as is false woman's fashion. Okay. All right. So a woman's gentle heart, but not acquainted with shifting change, as in false woman's fashion. So he's saying that your heart isn't like a false woman's heart, and your eye is brighter than theirs, and less false in rolling, so you don't roll your eyes at me?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Gilding the object whereupon it gazeth. Gilding. Do you know that word?
Yep.
What does it mean?
It's like when you cover something in gold or silver, like it's gilded in gold. It's kind of like, I think it's kind of like plating, but it's a different process.
So that is what you said just a minute ago, that the thing that you look on becomes greater because you look on it, right? Did you say something like that?
Yeah.
A man in hue, all hues in his controlling, much steal men's eyes and women's soul amazeth.
Which steals men's eyes?
Much? Oh, you have which?
Yeah, weird. This is the first time we've had this many, inconsistencies. Yeah, mine says, a man in hue, all hues in his controlling, which steals men's eyes and women's souls amazeth.
I'm guessing that it is probably like which, but maybe he used much, but... Yeah, so maybe the meaning of the word has changed a little bit over the years, and publishers put it like that. I don't know. That could have been completely made up. And see, something like that could be a good trivia question for us to look up, but that's not a fun one. I like the one where we're going to look up the screenwriter of Empire Strikes Back. No boring Shakespeare in our trivia section.
So what's he trying to say here?
A man in hue, and what is hue? Like a color?
Color?
So a man in hue, all hues in his controlling.
Does that mean he controls all colors?
And how does he do that? By looking good? Is this whole poem about a man, and he's comparing a beautiful man to a beautiful woman?
Oh, it might be.
I don't know. You have I'm not I'm not sold on that at all.
Well, the first half is basically all about women. Then now, right in the middle part, he changes to man.
It's like,
so let's
what's
see.
this man stuff all about, Shakespeare? Why are you bringing up men all of a sudden? Anyway, so okay, let's just admit that we're still a little bit lost. Maybe the next quatrain will solve it after.
Yeah.
Let's just read it through one more time. An eye more bright than theirs, less false and rolling, gilding the object whereupon it gazeth. A man in hue, all hues in his controlling, much steals men's eyes and women's soul amazeth. What is it? Oh, amazeth and gazeth. Excuse me. I was going to say, what does amazeth rhyme with? And then I looked up and it was gazeth. Okay. All right, so I don't know what it means, but let's move on.
Okay.
And for a woman wert thou first created. And for a woman? So again, is this about a man? Or is this about, like, something that women love?
So,
a baby or something.
and for a woman wert thou first created. Is that maybe talking about, like, destiny? Like you were destined for a woman?
Yeah, but who? The man was destined for a
Yeah,
woman?
yeah.
Okay. Till nature,
Until
as
nature.
she wrought free, fell a doting. Oh, did this person die?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Till nature. So nature, like, you know, maybe
Nature wanted you.
a heart attack or something?
Or just, some sort of death. But
Yeah.
if you were nature and somebody was just beautiful out there, wouldn't you want them to die and go back into nature when they were at the height of their beauty?
Yep.
If you were greedy nature?
If I was nature, yeah. Yeah.
No, I'd be a much better nature than you. I would let people get old. Okay, but we don't know if we're right. Maybe some guy died before his time. And by addition, me of thee defeated, by adding one thing to my purpose, nothing. I'm not getting it.
The only thing I can think of is by adding one thing to my purpose, nothing, meaning like, it's sort of like nothing from nothing is nothing.
Nothing from nothing means nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I was referring to, yeah. So I think...
Trivia question, is that Stevie Wonder? Who is that?
Is it Stevie Wonder?
Alright, trivia question. I think it's Stevie Wonder. But it would be pretty funny if it's very much not Stevie Wonder. So let's see what the couplet says. But since she pricked thee out from woman's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure.
Their love's use, their treasure.
Is it some guy that he was in love with is now out mating with ladies?
Wait, okay, so, but since she pricked thee, who's she here? Is that nature?
Nature, I'm saying nature.
So since nature pricked you, the man, out for women's pleasure, like nature picked you out to be a playboy, mine be thy love, mine is your love. What? And your love's use their treasure.
They treasure your love, but my love, mine be thy love. Oh, this is so rough with the words and the meaning.
Yeah. Maybe, so we're talking to the guy.
Uh-huh.
Mine be thy love, I think it means like, me, the guy who wrote this poem, loves you, and your love's use is there. Who's there? Nature and women?
Nature manipulated it so that I don't get to keep your love. Your love is spread to women. You're not my little boy anymore. But it's not like I don't think it's to his children.
Is it like a sexual thing?
I don't know. It could just be there was this young man who he thought was just a beautiful man, and it inspired him to write and to create. And when he got a little bit older, nature said, okay, now you are going to become a man and you're going to be with women. And Shakespeare's like, he's all grown up now. He's for the women.
Yeah, when I reread the beginning of this and think of it like he's talking about a man or about a boy, it makes a lot more sense.
The only thing is, if I'm wrong, this is going to be a big miss.
Let's commit. Let's commit to this.
Swing and a miss. And
because we're allowed to interpret however we want, right?
It means something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're trying to get as close as we can, but at the same time, this is what it means to us.
I guess you're right. But if it really meant that to me, when I read an expert's interpretation, if it really meant that to me, then I wouldn't change my mind. However, the reality is, when I read an expert's interpretation, I go, oh, that's what it's about. My idea was wrong.
I guess you're right, yeah.
I'm not saying it's good or just. I'm just saying that that's what I'm going to do.
All right.
We're going to read the interpretations, and we're going to say, okay, it's not about... by the way, how old do you picture the guy that we're talking about? Maybe like starting from 15, 16, 17?
Yeah, I think he's pretty young.
And then now he's probably like, 18, 19, 20.
We're talking about a boy or a guy. A woman's face with nature's own hand painted has that. So you have a woman's face.
Or just an angelic face.
Yeah, totally. I don't mean women like you look like a chick, but women's like beauty.
I like how you had to clarify Shakespeare's words. Like, oh, I don't mean a woman. Don't misinterpret me, Mike. The master mistress of my passion. Earlier, I said that it was the most important woman mistress. Now it's looking like, you're kind of a master, you're kind of a mistress. I can't quite place you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, master mistress. A woman's gentle. So, like, then we're saying that he's got a gentle heart like a woman.
But then he becomes very sexist and he says, yeah, but the thing about women is they're very fickle. Or maybe he's just saying that about false women. As his false women's fashion. Like, that's what false women do. But you're not like a false woman. So
you've got the woman's heart. You have a heart just like a woman. But the thing that you don't have is their shape, the way that they change their hearts. Kind of like how women love their... I think he's saying that women's love jumps from one man to another like pretty easily. Or maybe the things that they find important just changes daily or something, like women's fashion.
You don't bring them home a pretty necklace or take her out to dinner now and then. She's gonna start looking elsewhere. That's all women, says Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Or maybe just false women.
A man in hue, all hues in his controlling, which steals men's eyes and women's souls amazeth. So
you control the room.
Yeah, men look at you, and women want you.
You're Justin Timberlake.
Pretty much.
Men want to be you when men want to be with you.
Fabio. Could be Fabio.
You think men want to be with Fabio?
No, but you look at Fabio and you're like, there's a beautiful dude.
Oh, he is beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what he looks like these days.
It's probably still beautiful.
Probably. I'm sure he kept his long hair.
Yeah, that's his trademark. That's like that and his huge, ginormous muscles.
Yeah, I wonder if he still poses for books.
I forgot about that. I forgot that he does that.
I think that's the only thing he does. And then he said, I can't believe it's not butter commercials.
Yeah, I can't believe it's not butter.
I think that's worth looking up. Is Fabio still actively on books? And have they aged his face at all? Because I'm sure some women still would be turned on at the idea of Fabio today being their lover. I'm sure that's still exciting for some women. But anyway, that's so Fabio. I'll just write that down. We'll know what it means.
I think we're on a roll. I think we're onto something here.
Yeah,
it feels good.
An eye more bright than theirs, so you look at things better. Oh, when you look upon something, like you said, like you have a way of looking at things that makes it better. And when you're in the room, everybody wants to look at you. By addition, me of thee defeated. I don't get what that means.
Yeah. No. Okay, so till nature as she wrought thee, fell a dotting, and by addition, me of thee defeated. Do you think? So back to what we had originally said. Nature took this man from the world, and also she defeated me. because nature killed you. What do you think of that?
She pricked thee out. Oh, yes, and then maybe that means she pricked thee out. So we were saying pricked like picked thee out, like she took you.
Oh, yeah. No, that
but
could...
it's pricked, so it could be like she killed you. She pricked you on the finger, just like Sleeping Beauty, and now you're asleep.
Yeah. I think I'm feeling much more confident that we're at least pulling something out of this poem.
Yeah, but it's still she pricked thee out. But mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure. What does it mean, their treasure? Is he alive or is he dead? Look at this. We were so confident a few minutes ago, and now I don't even know if the guy is Fabio or Fabio in 45 years.
Maybe so what he's saying is, but I love you, and the things that you love, everyone else loves.
I shared your baseball card collection with everybody you know. I hope that makes you happy. Because you loved it, I gave it to everybody.
And your stereo. Your sound system.
Yeah. And your DVDs, but most people didn't want them. I'm very sorry.
But there was a few people who looked like they were from the future.
Yeah, and they thought it would be hip to have DVDs. Let's just invite people over from the neighborhood, and we'll watch this DVD of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I only have 4 DVDs, and that's one of them. That's not a true story. I'm just playing a character.
One thing that DVDs I think are still good for is the extra features.
Yeah, but those are on Blu-ray.
Yeah. I guess they are and everything.
Yeah. One good thing a DVD's good for is if you fall asleep to a DVD, you wake up to an endlessly repeating DVD menu. That's one thing it's good for.
Oh, yeah.
Blu-ray player's not going to do that. Blu-ray player's going to go to sleep when you go to sleep.
Oh, I didn't know that. To this day, I still haven't seen a Blu-ray movie.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not missing that much.
No, really? From everything I hear, people say, "Oh, once you watch, you can't go back to regular."
Well,
movies.
of course, it's nicer looking.
Not missing much. I'm missing everything.
No, but what the movie's the story, you know? Unless you're watching Avatar, I guess.
That's true. But
it looks better.
Seeing it in such high definition probably adds to like getting lost in the. I don't know. It helps you suspend disbelief or something.
I don't believe anything already. Or I do believe everything already. I believe everything I hear and everything I see. All right, well, we might have to do something we've never done on here. We might have to go to break. Not completely sure what happened in this poem.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the things we've said is going to end up in the correct answer, but I don't think even we were able to really tie a bow on it. Should we just go from top to bottom one more time and try to get a flow? So, listen, guy, dude, you are really beautiful, kind of like the way a woman is. Now, hear me out. Like, you got a sweet face and a very nice heart, but you're not like, you don't do all those bad things that women do, okay? I hate that stuff with their, they're very fickle. I hate it. You look at things very well. When you look at them, they become better. Everybody in the room wants to look at you. They're all amazed by you. And you were made for women pleasure, right? And then, I like how it's now in dialogue. He's got a hype man in the back. Yeah.
Right?
And then, as she wrought and then she like fell in love with you. She made you, and then she was like, wait, I really like this guy. And then...
No, nature killed the guy.
Yeah, but she fell a doting, so she fell in love with him first. And by addition of me defeated, okay, so she fell in love with you, and then she beat me again by adding one thing to my purpose, nothing. We didn't try very hard on that line, did we? By adding one thing to my purpose. Is there a comma or anything for you? So what's by... See, like the syntax doesn't feel right.
That's the one line where we were saying, I feel like it means nothing from nothing is nothing. So it's like, yeah. You added one thing to my purpose, which is nothing. But in my purpose of loving you is absolutely...
You took that purpose away.
Tiny in comparison to maybe nature's love for you or whatever.
And then she took you away from women.
Oh, wait. Maybe he's saying then he... But since she pricked thee out for women's pleasure, meaning she made you straight and made sure that you're straight, like you like women and women like
Okay,
you.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking earlier. Well, maybe not straight, but just now you are for women.
Dang, dude. Okay, so the whole nature killing him, that's not... I don't think that's... He killed him.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, sure. She's just playing around with who he is.
Nature, as she wrought thee, fell a-doting. She fell in love with the guy, the guy. And so she changed him to straight. Because nature's a woman.
Nature's a woman, or now you could pass on your genes.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. The procreation stuff.
Mine be thy love, and thy love's use their treasure.
So I love you.
So you're my love, but now you are their love, and your love is something that they value very highly. They speak very well of you on their blogs.
He himself, not being just gay, but bi, right? Possibly bi, as Shakespeare.
Or maybe it's not necessarily sexuality. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but maybe it's just him.
No, I think it's sexual.
Okay, sure.
Because that's why he's so pissed. He's pissed off that this guy is only into girls and not into me.
Well, maybe he's not even pissed off, though. He's just saying that's what it is. You know, it's this beautiful thing. He's still using positive imagery.
Yeah, now that I reread it, I don't see anything that indicates he's pissed off.
I'm not feeling angry.
Anymore. I thought it was. I thought it was from where he says, as she wrought thee. That just...
Yeah, it feels like an aggressive
felt
word.
Aggressive to me. So, but maybe after that, there's nothing else really aggressive. So that's probably where I pulled that from.
So I'm not so clear on this. I'm not completely sold on the overt sexuality of it. I think it could just be about a man moving on into manhood and Shakespeare reflecting on it because he viewed the boy so fondly, and now he has to add this into his view of him.
I think it's gonna... So what I see in this is, like sexual desire. So I think we're gonna differ on that going into the break.
So we're gonna look up the expert's interpretation of Sonnet 20, and you're gonna see how close we came.
Let's do it.
I found out something in our research that somehow we missed in the past couple of sonnets. So, Mike, remember that poems 1 through 17 were called procreation sonnets. So, going into each one, we knew that the theme of the poem, or something about the plot of the poem, was going to be Shakespeare telling a young man that he should marry and have children to pass on his genes, and so that there'll be other children that look like him and are like him. Well, after poem 17, we didn't know what was going to come next.
Like what overarching theme, right?
Overarching theme was going to come next. Well, now I just found that poems 1 through 126 are the fair youth sonnets, meaning that they're all addressed to a young man. And here on Wikipedia it says that some commentators, noting the romantic and loving language used in this sequence of sonnets, have suggested a sexual relationship between them. Others have read the relationship as platonic
love.
So the experts aren't even sure. So that was great that you thought that it was sexual, and I said I wasn't sure because the experts can't decide.
True.
What a great example that we just set for everybody listening about literary criticism. You could have disagreements and you could defend them. I mean, Shakespeare's not around to tell us the real answer.
I'm seeing it a bit more as platonic love now, which I think that's kind of what you were hinting at before, right?
Yeah, I didn't phrase it so beautifully, but that's what I was going for. What Sonnet 20 is about is that you are supposed to be a woman, but somehow nature changed its mind or made a mistake and made you a man. And now I can't have you in the way I want to have you. So, because you're supposed to be with women sexually, so you go be with women, but I want your love. You can have them they can have you physically, but I want your love deep down.
Man, while we weren't spot on, I think we got pretty darn close.
Let me read you something else from down below on Shakespeare Dash Online. Sonnet 20, and I this is unbelievable. Sonnet 20 has caused much debate. Some scholars believe that this is a clear admission of Shakespeare's homosexuality. We had the exact argument that you're supposed to have, except first we had that stupid argument about, not argument, but theory that the person was dead. Nature. But no, that was, it was a step that we had to go through. We knew that nature had done something with you.
Realization that nature had made him something that the boy or the writer couldn't have.
The fair youth. And we were right in calling it, that age. I mean, I don't know exactly how old a fair youth was, but we would call 16, 17, 18 a fair youth. All right, Mike, tell me, what grade would you give us this week?
I'm pretty proud of this one. I really do feel like we came pretty darn close.
Do it.
I'm going to give us an A minus.
This may actually be the worst one that we've done yet because we just stumbled around so much. But the fact that we had the questions that experts have, that is pretty darn good.
That was great.
So an A minus, I think we did earn that. So now we are going to look up our trivia questions. What do we have this week?
Fabio, what's he up to these days?
What's he up to? Has he been posing for books still?
Nothing from nothing means nothing. Who wrote that? Was it
Stevie Wonder?
Yeah, Stevie Wonder. Ray Charles? I don't think it was real.
Well, it's not Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Lawrence Kasdan.
And Lawrence Kasdan, the man who wrote the screenplay for The Empire Strikes Back?
Or is he the director of, Body Heat or something like that? Or could he have done both?
What did you do?
All right, so we'll look it up. And we'll also look up the director of Body Heat. I failed on Nothing from Nothing. It wasn't a terrible guess, but the answer is the great Billy Preston. I say it now like I'm trying to curry favor with him, like, hey, sorry that I didn't know one of your biggest hits. Now I'm going to call you the great Billy Preston. The guy is cool. You watch him on YouTube. He's really awesome, and I know that he played with the Beatles and stuff, but obviously I don't know him well enough to name one of his most famous songs, or maybe his most famous song.
All right, so I did some research on Fabio. What's he been up to? The most recent news that's on his Wikipedia, I tried looking for his Twitter, but there's, I guess, a bunch of other famous Fabios. It's like a famous name. So I couldn't find him on Twitter, but I didn't look very hard. Anyway, the most recent thing that he's done is he was in the challenge for an Old Spice challenge to be the new Old Spice guy. He was fighting against Isaiah Mustafa, who was the guy, I think, who was, where he's like, look at me, now I'm on a horse, or look over there, now I'm on a horse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Fabio lost out, so that's the last thing he's done in American pop culture.
Well, nice try, Fabio. Well, I may have been really wrong about Stevie Wonder and Billy Preston. Now let's see how I did on Lawrence Kasdan. I said that he wrote Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi were indeed written by Lawrence Kasdan, and he's also scheduled to write Star Wars Episode 7, which will be coming out later.
Oh, wow.
I said, he might be the guy that wrote those movies, or maybe he's the guy that directed Body Heat. Well, he wrote Body Heat.
Nice.
So I was right about that. Body Heat was directed by Lawrence Kasdan. I swept it. I got him all
Wow.
right. It was all him the whole time. It was Lawrence Kasdan.
So he wrote it and directed it, huh?
Yeah. So
Nice.
obviously, I don't know who this man is. I don't know anything about him. I just know that his name is connected to all these movies. So those are our trivia questions for the week. Hey, you listened to an A- show this week, so congratulations to you, the listener.
Absolutely. You lucky dogs, you.
And congratulations to you, Mike, the co-star of Mike and Scott Read a Poem.
Thanks, Scott. The co-star of Mike and Scott Read a Poem.
That's the new way we're going to sign out every single week. Our ratings are going to plummet because of that. It's a really good podcast, but it gets strangely mushy at the end. I hate it.